And Town Board, we are live.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the August 4th regular meeting of the East Hampton Town Board. Carol, would you please read the roll call?
Present.
Present.
Here. Present.
Present. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today's meeting will have two public hearings followed by a public portion and resolutions. Before we get started, I'd like to make a brief announcement. Today, I'm happy to announce that Moody's rating agency has once again awarded the town with a AAA bond rating. The town received a triple bond rating back in 2017 under Supervisor Cantwell. And during the consecutive 5 years under my administration, the town has maintained that designation. I'd like to thank and congratulate our finance department and my fellow town board members for their efforts in this matter. Moody's review a myriad of factors in determining their rating, including legal liabilities. Our AAA rating is a stark contrast to the claims made in recent spate of full-page political ads that the town's financial status is at risk due to the cost of litigation. Moody's summary states, town finances are very healthy, and although fixed costs are somewhat above average, total leverage is quite modest. Not only has the town not suffered financially from the pandemic, certain revenues have actually outperformed. The stable outlook reflects our view that the town's financial position will remain strong due to its conservative budgeting and proactive financial management practices. East Hampton is priceless, and I and my fellow board members were elected to manage and protect the town on behalf of our residents. We will continue to vigorously defend our residents' right to beach access and the right to regulate our own airport. We will continue to defend our codes, prevent overcrowding in business establishments and illegal short-term rentals. We will continue to protect our environment and our quality of life to the best of our ability. There will be a press release that will be issued shortly with further details about the Moody's AAA bond rating. Due to time constraints, we're going to start with one resolution. We're going to approve the warrant and then move on to the public hearings.
Great. So resolution 2022-959 is approval of the warrant. Claims total $2,271,955.58, and the utility warrant totals $74,595.71.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried. Carol, would you please read the first public hearing notice?
Notice is hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing in the East Hampton Town Hall Meeting Room, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, on August 4th, 2 p.m. or soon thereafter, as this matter may be heard, to consider comments of all persons regarding the adoption of the draft Coastal Assessment Resilience Plan, CARP, an abstract of which follows. The Coastal Assessment Resilience Plan, CARP, is an important first step to reduce the town of East Hampton's vulnerability as a coastal community and adapt to the changing climate. The CARP evaluates key coastal risks our community currently faces and points to a drastic increase in severability of these risks. Rising sea levels and increased intensity of coastal storms undoubtedly will have an impact on nearshore homes and communities. The need to immediately begin resilience projects and policies is urgent. The plan identifies 11 focus areas where East Hampton must act first to address the impacts of climate change and recommends ways to reduce the town's vulnerability, include planning initiatives, changes in regulations, emergency response to storms and other events, public works projects, public education, consensus building, and new funding sources. Initiatives included in CARP, such as moving back from vulnerable areas, transfer of development rights, updates of infrastructure, and the evolution of roads and railways are complex, long-term projects that need to be initiated as soon as possible.
Thank you, Carol. We have 3 people signed up in person to speak on this matter, after which I'll take by show of hands anyone else who wants to address the board on this hearing, and we'll then go to the telephones. Laura Tooman. Hello, Laura.
Can't see all you.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, you can slide that over.
Yeah, it's in there.
Thank you,
I
Laura.
love wood, but I mean, look at posts and post and beam in my house all day, but it's.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Supervisor, Town Board members. My name is Laura Tooman. I am President of Concerned Citizens of Montauk. Before I speak in support of the plan and adopting the plan, I want to thank the town of East Hampton for being ahead of the game here. You are to be congratulated for focusing on this important initiative and for spending the resources to address it. As Carol had read into the record, this plan is a first step. It is one of many steps that need to be done to make our environment more sustainable, our community more sustainable, Montauk more sustainable, but also our residents and also our business community, to make our business community more sustainable. The Concerned Citizens of Montauk has been working with the town since Superstorm Sandy. That was a wake-up call for us when we saw, not just in Montauk, but throughout the town of East Hampton, significant damage to our infrastructure, to homes, to businesses, and to our ability to respond to the storm. So this is something that we've worked with the town on to secure funding, to work with the consultant, to work with the CARP committee, and hopefully in the near future work with the town to move forward with implementation of this plan. Mother Nature is here to stay. We cannot change her, we cannot modify her, but what we can do is modify our actions and modify how we plan to protect ourselves. The climate is changing, the sea level is rising, and the coastal storms are becoming more frequent and they're becoming a lot stronger than in the past. Adopting this plan will allow us to continue on the path that we need to continue on to advance us to get to where we need to be. It is a first step. The items in the plan still need to be fleshed out significantly, but we all know that, and many of us are willing to work with the town to do so. So, like I said, there's still a lot of work needed to help focus on this longer term strategy, but CCOM and I stand willing and able to work with the town. And I urge you to move forward with adopting this plan as quickly as you can.
Thank you, Laura. Alison Branco. Good afternoon, Allison.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. My name is Alison Branco. I'm the Climate Adaptation Director for the Nature Conservancy in New York. As you know, the Nature Conservancy is a global nonprofit organization with a vision for a future where people and nature thrive. We've been working with local governments and communities in East Hampton for almost 75 years to achieve that vision. I work with flood-prone communities across the state of New York, trying to help them understand their flood risks and then engaging the community to identify and implement some adaptation solutions. I usually encourage communities to think long-term and holistically about the solutions that they employ. And we really strive to help communities envision a new, more resilient future for their neighborhoods, and then to access funding and expertise to achieve that new vision. The town of East Hampton, located here at the end of a long and narrow and very low-lying island, is of course extremely vulnerable, not only to coastal storms like nor'easters and hurricanes, but to that slow-moving, more chronic impact of sea level rise. But we're lucky here in East Hampton because this town has been thinking about and working on adapting to these threats for a lot longer than most. East Hampton has implemented some short-term solutions like beach nourishment because they needed to. But the good news is that the town is now using the time they're getting from those short-term solutions to do the longer-term planning. And that's really what this plan, the Coastal Assessment and Resiliency Plan, is all about. And it's truly a nation-leading effort to prepare this town for the future with a lot more water. One where residents will adapt to live with all of that water rather than fighting a losing battle against it. And one where residents and businesses can prosper, utilities and infrastructure can be secure, and the natural resources, which East Hampton has also been working for almost 100 years to protect, will have the room they need to continue to flourish. The opportunity before us right now is really unprecedented. between the federal government's Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, the Environmental Protection Fund, and the New York State Clean Water, Clean Air, and Green Jobs Bond Act, the worst named act ever, which hopefully will be approved by voters in November. A tremendous amount of funding is about to be made available to do these kind of adaptation actions. So by developing this plan, East Hampton has created sort of a blueprint and a to-do list for the infrastructure upgrades, restoration projects, and yes, even relocations needed to adapt the town for the next 100 years of success. So by adopting this plan, you can really place yourselves at the front of the line to receive all of the funding to achieve that vision. There's a great deal of work still to be done, as you've heard. The plan does not have all the details worked out for all the recommendations it contains, but it is an important first step in adapting the town for the future. And as we see every time we walk on the beach or drive on our roads or use electricity, we know we don't have any more time to wait. So I urge you to adopt this plan today so that the hardworking people in East Hampton government and all the community members that they partner with can use this as a jumping off point and begin making the changes needed so that we can achieve a resilient East Hampton that will succeed in the wetter future that's coming. Thanks.
Thank you, Allison. Kevin McAllister.
Thank you, Supervisor. Good afternoon, Town Board. My name is Kevin McAllister. I'm founder of Defend H2O, a clean water and coastal advocacy organization. The board is aware of my credentials. First part of my career was in South Florida, principally working in coastal zone management. I'm well-versed with field knowledge and all the strategies for shoreline protection. Generally speaking, a thumbs up for the CARP process and plan. I think it hits all the right chords. Certainly the GIS work, the mapping, the technical components to the plan is very solid. You know, the floodplains, sea level rise elevations, the tools are all there. With respect to the policy, again, it does hit on all the right chords, particularly, I think the zoning component, talking about new regulations to raise buildings, storm damage considerations, where we're not investing significant monies into these properties when we should be pulling back. And of course, coastal retreat is mentioned. But largely, it is referred to as incentivized movement. I'm pleased to see the transfer of development rights being explored. So, you know, we've got to find the means to make this happen. But on the voluntary track, I also urge the board, you've got to be thinking about the compelling track, condemnation. You know, the plan actually, something I've certainly been speaking to is a bit of a date certain. When are we moving back? It identifies 15 years. That's certainly a reasonable time. I ask the board, be poised, you know, at 15 years to condemn these properties, to make it happen. The one, I guess I won't call it a criticism. Well, I guess it is, because you do know my perspective on beach nourishment as a long-term prospect. While we talk about coastal retreat and the steps are identified for putting that in place, we are also talking about entering beach nourishment. Of course, FIMP being the first, then establishing erosion control districts for subsequent fill projects. And in addition to downtown Montauk, we are now talking about ditch. I think there was, and this is a bit of a sidetrack, but while we are trying to incentivize and also compel, it's incumbent that the board be very aggressive in acquisition. You know, I know this is after the fact, but East Deck is a strategic parcel of land for managing ditch plains in the long term, for staging, et cetera. And I'm afraid its future is only going to put more demands on town board, more investment of monies to stabilize an area, a highly vulnerable area. The sand source. From my read of FIMP, as the crow flies, approximately 10 miles, I believe, is the source, Beach Hampton, as I saw it, unless the Corps has identified something immediately offshore from downtown Montauk. That's a pretty long run for hopper dredges. Again, you know the expense of this. The first out is on the federal dime, and subsequently it's going to be a local investment. I think over the long term, we're going to find that the sand source just isn't there or is incompatible. The vulnerability and the urgency to mobilize will not be possible with these large-scale hopper dredges that have to do this type of work when every community up and down the eastern seaboard has the same demand. In closing, again, I think it's a good start. It builds on the Hamlet study. It has, again, touches on all the right chords, but the old adage, the best laid plans, the meaning of that, the town board has to be all in on this. I mean, this is where the work begins. And again, and I know I talk in tongue sometimes, but tough love. At some point, you're going to have to show tough love to property owners that you need basically to relinquish or extinguish development and return to buffer zones, coastal buffer zones. So thank you so much. Again, I'm certainly happy to help contribute in any way I can if the town board sees fit, and certainly I will be staying abreast of the process as we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Anyone who's not signed up wishes to speak? Jane.
Good afternoon, Town Board. Jane Meering, living in Amagansett. Thank you. So I've read the plan 4 times now because A, that's the nerdy person that I am, but really because of how excited I am to see this CARP plan come to life. And I'm rising today to ask the board to adopt this plan. Today, I'd also like to comment about a few elements that to my eyes seem to be underrepresented in the document and in my opinion need some enhanced attention in the immediate years of plan implementation. By the way, I'm flagging these sort of as separate issues, but they're all interrelated and they also intertwine with the issues of inundation and erosion that the plan seeks to deal with heavily. So first, the plan seems light to me on the topic of rising groundwater and how we approach and deal with it in a way that's not surprising because from what I've read, although dangers of rising seas are kind of obvious, the groundwater issue does sort of remain a bit quote, under the radar in a lot of mainstream documentation and other people's plans and flood maps. However, the issue is very real and represents as much or even more perhaps of a threat to our sustainability and our infrastructure than storms and sea inundation from seas. I know our own Jeremy Samuelson focuses on this issue. He reminds us nearly every time I hear him speak that rise in groundwater is 1-to-1 with the rise in the sea level. So I'm no expert on this process. I'm learning about it, but I know that rising groundwater is associated with, can potentially devastate coastal communities. Higher seas push the water table up. They create flooding. They can create contamination and a real threat to all our infrastructure. And so I think we need to be sharply aware of how and where we impact or displace groundwater when we develop and how we anticipate the rise and incorporate that into our zoning and our building codes. The second issue I want to focus on is resiliency of our land overall, all over town with respect to its ability to absorb and mitigate increased flooding, taking into account both rising sea levels and groundwater. I'm probably stating the obvious here, but because just when water comes in, it's not just that creates flooding, it's also about our structures and our landscape, our hardscape and our landscaping that compromise and impede efficient absorption of water into the earth. So with respect to resiliency, I think any plan needs to address that. Our absorption potential and flood resilience is, in my opinion, undermined and challenged unnecessarily every day by bigger house footprints, bigger and deeper below ground living space, bigger in-ground pools, excessive hardscape, maxing out our very generous coverage allowances, constant clearing, grading of our dune lands, incursion into our wetland buffers, and endless ripping out of native and natural vegetation, which we know are one of the most important elements of flood mitigation. And then I'm not even going to talk about the insane amount of irrigation that goes on out here, but I just talked about it. Finally, I ask if the plan addresses robustly enough necessary changes to our zoning code and our mindset about land use overall. The plan refers to, quote, regulatory changes, figure ES1, talks about setbacks and building regulation, but that still seems vague. And I know it will be fleshed out, but it does not bring home the point that it is not just where and when we retreat from eroding shorelines in the longer term. It is about where, what, how big, how deep we are building and redeveloping right now. So in closing, the final point in the plan on page 70 calls for communication and consensus building and branding, which is basically winning over hearts and minds and shifting and creating the right mindset. When it comes to mindset, everything we do now, today and every day forward, signals to people about what the town really believes and symbolizes our priorities. So realistically, can we expect people to embrace a lot of heavy, major, intense changes we're asking them to support, like picking up and moving their houses and shifting business districts, when every day, every one of us sees the town approve and issue permits, business as usual for building bigger and bigger stuff along our shorelines? Here's sort of an anecdotal question. Can we expect anyone to stand in that small Ditch Plains parking lot in the shadow of the current construction of that massive character-crushing building looming over one of our most vulnerable spots on the entire map, and also know that there are 3 more of those in the pipeline, dozens more of those all over town, and then turn around and ask people to embrace that their priorities regarding this plan, that our priorities should be their priorities as well? Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Anyone else wish to address the board on this topic? Jason, do we have any callers on the line?
Yes, we do. I will unmute the caller right now. Hello, caller ending 1833. You are on the air. Hello.
Hi, this is Francesca Rhiannon. I'm a member of the Town Energy and Sustainability Advisory Committee, and I just want to first really support the process that has been going on with developing the CARP. It's a long time in coming, and I'm really proud of our town to really begin this process. It is an important first step. And I just want to support some of the things that have been said before. I understand just how difficult, I mean, we all know how difficult it is to deal in a climate emergency with a mindset that people in the town who want nothing better than to think that things are going to go on the way they always have been. So I really think that it's very important for us to start now with a kind of public education about the hard choices that have been pointed out both by Jane Meering, excellent comments there, and by Kevin McAllister. We do face extremely tough choices in the coming years that are absolutely necessary to take if we are to survive as a town. And I really think that the board needs to be more proactive in telling town residents, making sure that people are prepared. You know, one thing is public hearings, but I know from having gone to one of the hearings about sea level rise that happened around Girard Drive, that it was a total shock to the residents there that they may lose their homes at some point to sea level rise. And this just happened 2 years ago. I'm not sure, where their minds have been, but it was really a shock to them, and they were very, very angry. And this is what we can expect. So we really need to put real resources. I would like to suggest that the town hire somebody, a consultant or somebody else, to develop a public campaign, if you haven't already, a public information campaign, education campaign about the tough choices that we must face. Because without facing them, when it comes time to doing them, the town is going to be reluctant. They're going to fear, lawsuits, and we can't delay. We already saw with the wind farm how long a delay it took with all the ridiculous kind of opposition to it. I'm sorry, I editorialized there. But we need to do better to prepare the town for the changes that are coming ahead. But kudos to the town board, kudos to the CARP. Thank you so much for beginning this process.
Thank you for calling, Francesca. Jason, do we have any other callers on the line?
We have no other callers.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried. Carol, if you'd read the next public hearing notice.
Please take notice that the town board hereby directs that a public hearing shall be held on August 4th at 2 p.m. or soon thereafter as this matter can be heard at East Hampton Town Hall, 159.
Hey, Carol, sorry for a second. Carol, could you push your mic button one more time? I think it got something's off with it.
To hear
Just
any and
yeah.
all persons either for or against a local law entitled, "A Local Law Providing for the Amendment of Chapter 91 Beaches and Parks."
Okay, is there anyone here who wishes to address this public hearing? Do we have any callers on the line?
Oh, we have one caller from earlier. I'll unmute to see if they want to talk on this. Do you want to talk on this one as well?
Oh, no.
Oh, you're good? Okay, cool. Yep, that's it.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. That brings us up to public portion, public comment. Any general comments from anyone on any topic? No? Okay, we'll move on to resolutions.
I don't know if there's anyone on.
Yeah.
Jason, do you have any?
Still just Francesca. I'm just going to ask her if she wants to comment on public comment too. Francesca,
No,
would you like to,
no,
you're good?
Yeah, I just had one comment and I made it, yeah.
All right, great. Well, town board, that's it.
Okay, very good. We will move on to resolutions.
Great. Resolution 2022-960 is to hire an archaeologist for the Route 114 Community Housing Project, and we're hiring Tracker Archaeology to perform a Phase 1 A and B archaeological investigation of the 776, 780, and 782 Route 114 properties at a cost not to exceed $4,300.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
961 is a budget modification for the Office of the Assessor. We're moving money from furniture and fixtures and travel, conferences, and dues in the amount of $1,740 to office equipment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
962 is to hire a surveyor for the Route 114 Community Housing Project, and we're looking to hire Gary Benz at a cost not to exceed $12,500, $500 to merge the surveys, $3,500 to survey the Sag Harbor Community Housing Trust property, and $8,500 for a 2-foot contour survey.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
I'd like to offer resolution 2022-963 to appoint seasonal lifeguards from August 5th through September 17th of 2022. Jonathan Tarbett, lifeguard trainer, $17.25, and Brad Parsons, lifeguard trainer, $17.25.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
964 is appoint seasonal park attendant in the recreation department, effective August 5th, 2022, hourly rate of $20 per hour for William Hopkins.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
965 is appoint volunteers to the Shellfish Hatchery, Owen Nicholas Cooper and Sky Tansman. They have completed and submitted all appropriate forms, and this will be retroactive to August 3rd, 2022.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
966 is the appoint administrative assistant in the land acquisition department, Katrina Gore Cunningham. And let's see here, would it be 61,000 for 40-hour work week, $61,869.81.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
967, and it's appoint seasonal lifeguard for our promotion, retroactive to August 1st, 2022. Orla Dolan, advanced ocean lifeguard at $17.25.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
968 is a budget modification for the CPF stewardship, bringing $4,000 from contingency to $4,000 in tree maintenance line.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
969 is another budget modification for the land management, where we're going to be bringing the budget line for subcontractor costs in the amount of $5,000 to the budget line for tree maintenance in the amount of $5,000. Then we're going to increase the state aid mortgage tax in the amount of $25,000 and increase the amount for tree maintenance in the amount of $25,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes carried.
970 is a budget modification for the Highway Department, where the town has determined the need to study and seek recommendations to improve public safety at the intersection of Stephen Hand's Path and Long Lane and Two Holes of Water. We're going to be bringing $177,500 from an appropriate unreserved surplus, and we're going to increase the line at outside professional in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes carried.
971 is a notice of bidders for EH 22-031. This is the annual drainage contract A, B, and C. These bids are available August 4th, 2022. They're due back August 25th, 2022. If you have any questions, please contact our purchasing department at 631-324-4141.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes carried.
972 is a notice of bidders for EH 22-030. This is for the second house restoration phase 3 bid. The bid is available 8/11/2022. The bid is due back on 9/22/22, excuse me. And we will be having a pre-bid meeting, a site visit, which will be held at 11 a.m. on Wednesday, September 7th at Second House. This is at 12 Second House Road in Montauk. Attendance is strongly suggested. Any questions, please contact our purchasing department at 631-324-4141.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes carried.
973 is a transfer of parking reserve funds and budget modification from highway, where we're directing transfer of $14,434 from the payment in lieu of parking reserve fund and increase expenditure line in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes carried.
974 is the accept the proposal for LK McLean Associates Professional Services for intersection improvements. Again, this would LK McLean has provided a proposal dated April 4th, 2022 to provide professional engineering services for the development of planning along with preliminary and final engineering design of a roundabout intersection at the intersection of Stephen Hand's Path, Long Lane, and Two Holes of Water. The total amount is $177,500.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes carried.
975 is ANG to authorize a CPF project plan addition, whereas the town board has held a public hearing on July 21st, 2022. This property is located at tax map 300-133-2-6.2. And it is at 16 Swamp Road, East Hampton.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passing carried.
976 is to authorize a CPF acquisition and amended 2022 management and stewardship plan. The property is owned by Phoebe Eng at 16 Swamp Road, East Hampton. Tax map 300-133-2-6.2 is 3.56 acres of land. The purchase price is proposed purchase price is $1,925,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passing carried.
977 Spock authorized the CPF acquisition and amended 2022 management and stewardship plan. The owner is James Spock at 229 East Lake Drive, Montauk, tax map 300-13-3-29 and 3. Again, we held this public hearing on July 29th. July 21st, 2022. Purported price is not to exceed $2,200,000. And there will be an amount of donations to this in the amount of $150,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passing carried.
Resolution 2022-978 is a public hearing for 2023 Section 8 plan. The United States Department of Housing Urban Development requires that all entities administering a house choice voucher program adopt a plan. The public hearing is required by the U.S. Department of Housing, and that public hearing will be held on Thursday, October the 6th at 2 p.m. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passing carried.
Resolution 2022-979 is a notice of public hearing to amend the UR map EH-2. It's consisting of the reduction in the depth of a scenic easement required along the public right-of-way of Stephen Hand's Path from 50 feet to 25 feet.
The proposed amendment to the scenic easement has been reviewed by the Town Planning Board, and a memorandum dated June 28th has been received from the Planning Board Chair, indicating that the Planning Board recommends the proposed amendment to the required easement from 50 feet to 25 feet. The public hearing will be held on August 18th, 2022 at 11 a.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution 2022-980 is to appoint full-time laborer in the sanitation department, Javon Kidd, and appointed for full-time labor at an hourly rate of $20.35 and for a 40-hour work week, and the probationary period is 52 weeks.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution 981 is to authorize payment of past invoices and a budget modification. Various invoices from 218, 220, and 221 from the East Hampton Star have not been paid. And so it is in the amount of $6,011.20. And we are moving from budget line contingencies in the B fund of $6,011.20 to advertising in that same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution 982 is to adopt affordable housing overlay to be added to the premises at 395 Panago Road in East Hampton. We held a public hearing on June the 3rd and July 15th to consider the adoption of an affordable housing overlay for the property. And it is a proposed local law as an unlisted action. And the town board finds that the adoption of the proposed local law will not have significant adverse environmental impacts. And we hereby adopt a negative declaration to SECRA. And that's it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
And I have Resolution 2022-983. This is a request for proposals for enterprise permitting and licensing software services. The proposal is available through August 4th, 2022, and is due September 1st, 2022. This is for software that'll improve public access to records, et cetera, information on our website. And so the sealed proposals will be received by the senior purchasing agent on Thursday, September 1st, 2022, no later than 3 p.m. Specifications are available at the purchase department office and may be picked up between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, except holidays, or you can email purchasing@ehamptonny.gov beginning today. That is it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. Resolution 2022-984 is to appoint provisional accountant Alexander Papajohn. Resolved, Alexander Papajohn be hereby appointed to provisional basis, full-time position as accountant, an hourly rate of $32.21, grade 28, step 4, for 40-hour work week, $66,998.26 annually, retroactive to August 1st.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed, carried. Resolution 985 is authorize employee reimbursement Rebecca Hanson for report filing expenses for the Government Finance Officers Association at a cost of $530.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. 986 is to amend Resolution 2022-617, use of American Rescue Plan 2021 funding, Star Island Dock Rehabilitation Project, whereas on May 5th, 2022, the board adopted Resolution 2022-617 to approve the use of $393,185.78 of the American Rescue Plan funding for Star Island Dock Rehabilitation Project, and resolve that town, that page. And whereas the town had applied for a grant, 2021-1306 to FEMA. We did not receive the said grant funding. As per discussions in the 2022 capital plan, the board had agreed that if the grant was not received, the project would be fully funded from the American Rescue Plan Act funds. Therefore, the resolution's amended 2022-617 to approve the use of the total amount of $1,572,748.10 of the American Rescue Fund plan funding for the project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried. Resolution 2022 is related. 987 is a budget modification, American Rescue Plan Act 2021 funding. And this is to increase the federal aid line, ARPA, in the amount of $1,179,000, $562.32 to budget line transfer of other funds in the same amount, revenue transfer of other funds in the same amount, and expenditure Star Island dock repairs in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, passed and carried. 988 is a budget modification for the airport. Resolved, the town board hereby directs budget office to make the following budget modifications for fuel sales. And this is to increase the revenue budget line, sale of aviation fuel, in the amount of $1,636,000. I don't know why I keep doing this. $1,636,385. And to increase the expenditure line, aviation fuel, in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried. 989 is a budget modification for Marine Patrol, moving from boats, $1,000, training, and $1,000, uniform, $2,000, to boat fuel in the amount of $4,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried. Resolution 990 is to retain LK McLean Associates Engineering Services for small projects. Whereas the professional services of an engineer for various small projects were anticipated, the cost for professional engineering services were not more than $5,000 per project. We are resolved to that LK McLean Associates hereby retained to provide engineering services as set forth in their proposal dated June 30th, 2022 for small projects where overall services for the projects anticipated to be under $5,000 total. And that is not to exceed an amount of $25,000
Second.
total. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried. 991 is to retain Clark and Marshall appraisal for 91 and 93 Industrial Road in Waynescott. And that is in the amount of $2,500.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried. 992 is to accept donation to East Hampton Town Police Department and budget modification, and that is in the amount of $100,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
993.
Page 25.
Yeah. 993 is to extend contract EH 21007, supply and delivery of Jet A with additive and 100 low lead fuel for the airport, Ascent Aviation Group.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried. We have additional resolutions, I believe. That's you, baby.
I thought 990.
That's you, page 38, right?
So I went to 26.
26, but
We're
we're,
on page 26, right?
Yeah, but we're not entertaining that
Yes.
resolution today.
Okay.
okay, one more.
Okay, so you want us to table it? We're not gonna,
I will make a motion to withdraw resolution 2022-994.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried. 995 is to authorize the revocation of beach driving permits. Whereas on February 3rd, 2021, in the matter entitled Seaview at Amagansett LTD et al. Versus the trustees of the freeholders and commonality of the town of East Hampton et al., the Supreme Court Appellate Division Second Department, Seaview litigation, concluded that the town lacked the authority to regulate certain beaches as that term was defined in Chapter 91 of the Town Code, including, among other things, through the issuance of town beach driving permits for the beach located between the easterly line of Napeague Lane as extended southerly to the mean high water line of the Atlantic Ocean and westerly to the boundary of should be easterly to the boundary of Napeague State Park.
No, it is the westerly boundary.
West.
Yeah, the
I got
westerly
it
boundary.
backwards.
Yeah,
Okay,
yep.
so Napeague State Park and commonly referred to as Truck Beach. Whereas following the appellate division's decision, the town advised the public that the general beach driving was not permitted on the property that was the subject of the Seaview litigation. Whereas on or about June 30th, 2022, Supreme Court, Suffolk County, among other things, directed the town clerk to revoke all town beach driving permits issued by the town that violated the appellate court decision's order. Whereas the town has appealed Supreme Court's June 30th, 2022 order and is therefore entitled to a stay of enforcement pursuant to CPLR 5519. Whereas notwithstanding its appeal and the associated stay, consistent with the Supreme Court's June 30th, 2022 order in the Seaview litigation, the town intends to revoke all beach driving permits and to further clarify that beach driving on the property that is the subject of the Seaview litigation is prohibited. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board hereby revokes all beach driving permits previously issued by the town clerk's office. And it is further resolved that the town board declares that no beach driving permit issued by the town, either before this resolution or after it, gives the permit holder the right to drive on Truck Beach, and driving on Truck Beach is prohibited. Would like to also say that the town, in compliance with the court order, is mailing out a postcard to all permit holders, notifying them that there is a revocation of the existing permit and that they're to keep that card as their temporary new beach permit under the guidelines of Chapter 91, and that permanent stickers will be issued beginning in October, available at the clerk's office. Do we have any other?
Who's
You
second?
have to second it and vote on it.
You have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, pass and carried. Any other?
Was there, no,
I didn't hear Sylvia.
I didn't hear a second.
Oh, I thought Kate seconded it. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried. Are there any other matters to bring before the board?
No.
I'll entertain a motion to close.
motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried. Thank you very much, everyone. Stay safe.